Hi and welcome to the Geek Legion of Doom. Today we're going to be having a look at the following episode 3, also called The Poet's Fire. So the last episode finished with a guy dressed in an Edgar Allan Poe mask setting fire to someone at a hot dog stand. So this episode really starts pretty much with that one left off and gives an extended sort of recap of what actually happens there. So at this point we don't really know who the guy in the Poe mask is. We just know he's obviously another one of Joe Carroll's cult followers. So this is really his story, this episode. So it turns out, obviously, that yes, he is another cult member. Now, disappointingly, I would say that they kind of reveal his face fairly early on, and you get an idea who he was, and essentially he's an arsonist. This is his preference of killing, although he seems to be relatively sort of new to it. I actually think I would have preferred if they'd maybe kept the sort of mystery going a little bit, because it was a fairly disturbing sort of look, and I think I would have preferred him to have a bit more of a longer story. But there you go. So it turns out the person that was doused in gasoline was a book critic who was the worst critic of Joe Carroll's book. Joe Carroll being the serial killer who is sort of the mastermind behind it all. And this guy basically wants to sort of serve Joe Carroll by taking out anyone who was sort of dissed him professionally. So it suggested that basically his followers are paying tribute to him, and they'll all have their own sort of chapter in Joe Carroll's next book. You know, this one being he wants to take out the professional critics and what have you of Joe Carroll's life. So it starts off with his murder. And also it's indicated that there are two other people that sort of crippled Joe Carroll professionally, one being Kevin's baking character and the other being a dean at the high school. So obviously they suspect he'll be the next victim, and quite rightly so he is. Unfortunately they get there too late. In the meantime they find out the identity of the masked killer and get his wife into for questioning. Now there's quite a good twist here, so if you haven't seen the episode, I'd suggest watching it beforehand. There's quite a good twist in the fact that it turns out that the wife is actually in on it as well. And I didn't see that coming, actually, I have to say. I mean, she's scared at home when you first see her, and she has the knife wounds and stuff. You kind of buy into her story. So that was quite a good little twist on this one. However, at the end of the episode, they sort of catch they actually kill the guy in the mask, but the wife gets away. But in doing so, they actually kill one of the FBI agents. I think his name was Troy. So he's killed, although he was never didn't have many lines particularly, so he was never a particularly a major character. So and it's obviously only 3 episodes into it. It's not as if you feel a huge loss of a major character. But it was I quite liked this guy's sort of MO. I was a bit disappointed that it was kind of ended so quickly, to be quite honest with you. Now in the B plot, you've obviously got and this is the way it looks like it's going now. I thought maybe the kids kidnapping plot would be over fairly quickly, but it seems this is going to be a running thing through the season. And so you've got the 2 guys that were pretending to be gay. That it turns out that maybe that they actually have developed genuine feelings for each other. And one of the guys' serial killer girlfriend called Emma. So there's those 3 basically sort of holding this kid hostage against he doesn't actually realise he's being held hostage. So their dynamic is kind of spinning out of control, because maybe what wasn't expected was one of the guys certainly has developed proper feelings for the other one. So it looks like that sort of group dynamic may not be going according to plan, which is one of the things I had a criticism about this whole series. Was this seems so intricately planned. I didn't see how it feasibly could be considered a realistic plan. But it looks like they are going to be addressing maybe things maybe not going according to plan. Although obviously their ultimate goal is still in place and hasn't really affected that. So in the B plot, the third wheel, so to speak, goes out and kidnaps a local girl from a convenience store and held her hostage. And And well, at the end of the episode, we don't know if she's still alive or not. I assume she probably is. All they say is that they're going to take her into the basement. But obviously, we'll assume that she's probably going to get killed at some point. But it looks like that sort of group dynamic sort of may be a bit more explosive sort of down the line. And that could be the undoing of obviously that particular little scenario. I have the feeling. But what was the most chilling thing about this episode, I thought, was the actual closing scene where they send Kevin Bacon's character a video of them essentially teaching the young son of Joe Carroll, who is really, you know, I don't know how old he is, maybe 7 or 8. Basically, the beginnings of being a serial killer, teaching him how to kill mice and stuff. And obviously, you know, if you're a serial killer, you tend to start small and escalate bigger. So that's obviously the end game there. So that adds some genuine like urgency, I think, to the proceedings. So obviously, you thought maybe they wanted to kill him first of all. It looks like they kind of want to train him to be like the sort of the next serial killer. And so that kind of adds the sort of sense of urgency that you needed to try and find this kid as soon as possible. I have to say, I thought this was a lot better than the previous episode. As I said, I would have preferred this the guy just in the POMAS to be a bit more of an enigma for a bit more longer. I think he was possibly a good character. It does look like it's maybe going to go for a follower of the week as a sort of standalone plot and have this overreaching plot with sort of the kid getting trained as a serial killer, and can they catch him in time as the sort of the sort of season arc. So I've read that a lot of people don't think it can last one season. Well, it shouldn't last more than one season, I should say, which I'd probably have to agree with, to be honest with them. I don't see how something like this could be planned so long in advance, unless the only thing I can think of is at the end of this season, maybe Joe Carroll will escape again, and almost be a completely separate story. But for now, I think, you know, obviously it's got the legs to maybe go the full season. And, you know, it's an intriguing sort of thing, sort of program and plot. I certainly don't think it's as good as I would have liked it to have been. But so far, you know, I'll keep watching. This episode was a pick-up. I'll give this one a 7 out of 10. Did you see it? What did you think of this episode? Let me know in the comments. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks for watching Geek Legion of Doom.